All right, good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us.
Mute your computer.
Yeah, I am. Okay. I'm gonna find out what's going on technically. We seem to have a little bit of an echo. In the meantime, though, I want to welcome everyone joining us live. I want to welcome everyone joining us online too. Today is Tuesday, September 17th. We are conducting our regular monthly board meeting. Welcome. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, shall we? Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. For the reading of the mission statement, I'll turn to Mr. DeFranco.
Thank you. The mission of the School District of Springfield Township is to educate and develop all students as learners and citizens who are high achieving, resilient, and responsible in a changing global community.
Thank you. Ms. Green, roll call, please.
Mrs. Aberly.
Here.
Mrs. Bell.
Here.
Mr. DeFranco.
Here.
Mrs. Hubley. Mrs. Hughes. Mr. Jordan.
Here.
Dr. Taratusky. Mr. Needleman.
Here.
Mr. Bedard.
Here.
He may have been on mute, but he's here, just for the record. Yes. All right. So we'll begin with some announcements. I want to start by reading this. The board, at its discretion, may videotape all or any portion of our public board meetings, subject to the limitations set forth in policy 006, which talks about board meetings being broadcast. They'll be broadcast on the Friday afternoon following each board meeting. With that, I'll turn to Dr. Yannicone for our superintendent report.
Thank you, Mr. Needleman. Good evening, everyone. I'm very pleased to share with you that we have enjoyed a successful start to the school year, with schools open as of today for 2 full weeks. Our staff have welcomed over 2,550 students to our schools, and they have done a wonderful job of creating a welcoming and engaging space for our students to learn and grow. We've also held 3 of our 4 parent information nights, and Enfield will welcome families this Thursday. In district news, I'd like to thank our students, staff, and families for the collaborative and supportive response we have received with regard to our technology integration adjustments this year. Families are a critical piece of the puzzle in this work, and we appreciate your assistance in reinforcing expectations at home and in school. I would also like to recognize our technology department, our instructional coaches, and Dr. Johnston and Mr. Lutz as they continue to work through the significant shift from eSchool to PowerSchool as our student information system, and Schoology as our secondary learning management system. Once again, our families, students, and staff have been flexible and supportive and have communicated effectively throughout the ongoing process of change. I'd like to congratulate our building administrators on a strong start to the school year. Their planning and commitment to their staff, students, and families has resulted in a smooth transition from the summer months to the new year. And finally, I want to thank Steve Chinta and our security team for their vigilance in training and reinforcing best practices in the safety and security of our schools. Following yet another school tragedy earlier this month in Georgia, I am grateful to our families for your trust and compliance with all security measures, and to our staff and students for your continued partnership in following all necessary procedures to maintain safe schools and offices on our campuses. Within board motions this evening, under personnel, we have our regular agenda items. Under academic affairs, you'll find a series of overnight trips for athletic teams and clubs. Historically, we have approved these trips in advance to allow our athletic department to reserve hotel rooms and budget for these events. You will also find 2 agreements for student placements. Under property, we have 1 item, a contract for a new network firewall system, which supports our cybersecurity plan. The system, called Fortinet, is designed to maintain the highest levels of security for all district systems. And under policy, we have the second reading of a series of policies we reviewed in August, and for which the first reading was held on August 20th. So following tonight's second reading, if they are approved, they will go into effect. And now I'd like to turn things over to our Spartan Spotlight. I'm going to introduce Dr. Rittenhouse, our high school principal, and Mr. Ferraro, our high school athletic director, who are going to share a little bit about the Positive Coaching Alliance, which is a program we've had in place for several years, and we're really proud of the work that the athletic department and our athletes have accomplished along with our coaches over the last few years. So Mr. Ferraro and Dr. Rittenhouse, I'll be happy to invite you up.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome. I'm here to speak about the Positive Coaching Alliance, or PCA. I intentionally wore my 12-year-old shirt. I hadn't seen it for a while. This is the first shirt I got when I was here, began as a principal almost 12 years ago, and it really is emblematic of the immense progress our athletic program has made here at this time under Mr. Farrar's tenure, 10 years. 10 years. We have now standard colors, blue and steel, and a standard S, which you can see back there on the wall. New athletic facilities. We're in a new, smaller division in Suburban 1 and immensely competitive there. Standard new uniforms, competitive winning program with smart, hardworking student athletes. And we appreciate that, everything that Joe has done, the coaches, and the support of the board and the community. In 2018, Mr. Ferraro introduced the idea of the Positive Coaching Alliance, or PCA, which has added value to our outstanding program and has really been awesome for us. I think we had 85 parents at back to school night for the Positive Coaching Alliance. So I'm going to turn it over to Joe. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you, Dr. Rittenhouse. So like Dr. Rittenhouse said, back in 2018, Dr. Yannicone actually called me and recommended that we look into the Positive Coaching Alliance. So this is an organization that really focuses on the social, emotional well-being of our student athletes, our coaches, and our community. And we really use their teachings to try to build a culture here at Springfield. You know, one of the mottos from the PCA is better athletes and better people, and we try to live by that. So some of the things that we do with the PCA is we offer live workshops for all of our student athletes. Our student athletes participate in a multitude of workshops throughout the year. When we first started this partnership, our athletes were being exposed to about 1 live workshop a year. Now our athletes are being exposed to about 6 live workshops a year. The 3 really key points for us are we work on character development, teaching our kids what it is like to be a positive athlete and a positive student and a role model in our community. We talk about leadership. You know, a point that has really stuck out to me is one of the instructors talked about, our student athletes get 10 to 12 years of social studies and science and English and math, but we really get no years of leadership training. So what we do and what colleges are looking for is young students on how to be leaders. So we're teaching them, actively teaching them on leadership qualities that they can take with them at the next level. And then really we just want them to be able to work together 9 through 12 to really integrate quickly. And you'll see this later on, that this has been a huge improvement for us, is our senior students working with our freshman students and really building that team culture immediately, really on day 1 of practice. So another thing that we really focus on is teaching our coaches, right? We want our coaches to know the same things that our students know. We want to create a consistent culture with our coaches. So something that we really focus on is mental wellness. So we have our coaches making sure that they're checking in with the students. We preach, a 5-to-1 ratio where our coaches should be giving 5 positive feedbacks to a coach before they really deliver that one critical feedback where, you really need to correct some action. And this is all based in research that our coaches are really trying to get the most out of our student athletes. And again, our coaches are really focusing on a holistic approach, not just the X's and O's inside of the field or inside of the pool, but really what it means for the, athlete to be enjoying their experience and be happy while they're on the field or in their sport. And then something else that our coaches will get experience to this year is a mastery culture workshop where they will learn on how to best impact culture at our school. So we focus on that every year, trying to build a great culture, and we will continue to focus on that this year. And then just recently, we've started hosting these workshops for our community. Like Dr. Rittenhouse had mentioned before, back to school night, we had about 90 families come out and learn the PCA's teachings. And really why we do this is, like I said, to create that consistent culture. When our students are going home or they're on the field, they're hearing certain lingo, they're hearing certain phrases. We want our parents to be able to echo those same things so that when kids are going home, parents really know how to talk to their kids and how to be a positive parent. We try to build connections, right? It was a really great opportunity for me to meet a couple of our families that I haven't been able to interact with. And that has been overwhelmingly positive. That feedback from the community has been great. It's been really exciting to see as the athletic director. And that's just instilling pride in our school community. You know, our parents are excited about being positive parents. Our kids are excited about being positive athletes, and our coaches reap the benefits of all of those things. When the parents are happy and the kids are happy, the coaches' lives is a little bit easier. So it's been really exciting. Thank you. Skip one there too. So a couple quotes just from our kids, and I'm not going to read them all to you, but you know, we've had our coaches come out and speak incredibly highly about our program here. They're very proud of what we do. They're excited that we offer it to our kids. I had a community member come up to me before back to school night and say, man, I really learned some things here. I'm definitely guilty of a couple of the things that they tell you not to do. And these are, you know, techniques that I'm going to implement to not embarrass my kid and to make sure that, you know, the PCA talks about the post-game analysis and the car ride home when the kid had a tough game and the parent just wants to ask him 1,000 questions about how come you didn't do this or how come this didn't go that way. You know, really hearing that, internalizing it, and then putting techniques into place to keep that relationship with your student positive. We've had a ton of feedback. Gracie Buckholtz, who's a field hockey captain for us, talked about how they have been able to immediately integrate freshmen positively and positive initiation into their team. So it's been really nice to hear from our freshman athletes that they feel accepted and welcomed by our seniors, because that's not always the case. So I love this picture because I've never been that happy running cross country. So, you know, just positivity all the time. You know, everybody's always smiles. So really how we tied this all together, you know, we generated a coaching handbook and a student athlete handbook a few years ago with Dr. Yannicone's support. And we really built these principles into those documents. We wanted to make sure that when we built this coaching handbook that we put in the double goal coach principles into that handbook so that coaches knew our expectations about what it is like to be a positive coach. And when we put the student athlete handbook together, we really wanted to focus on, you know, honoring the game and respecting your opponents, respecting your officials, respecting your teammates, and things like that. So it has been a core value for us in developing policy and putting that forward to our community. And then what's on the horizon? You know, really, we'd love to expand our program. I've talked to the middle school, and something that we're really interested in is bringing the PCA's teachings to our middle school athletes so that they're exposed to some of these teachings before they get to high school, because as freshmen, they're hearing it for the first time. We'd love to be able to expand that to our middle school athletes to really give us an all-encompassing athletic program through the PCA. We want to deepen our partnerships. We want to continue to reach out to our community and figure out ways that we can better implement the PCA's trainings, because live content is great, but we'd love to be able to continue that throughout the year with newsletters and other things that we can continue to reach the community, reach our student athletes, and reach our coaches. And then lastly, we want to continue to celebrate our successes. Something that we do a great job at is celebrating when we're doing a great job. And I think that that's crucial. For us, it's really important to see the smiles on the faces, to see the community rally around our teams, and we want to continue to do that. So that's our PCA partnership. I have been incredibly happy with how it's gone in recent years. I am proud of the work that we have done teaching our kids, teaching our coaches, and reaching out to our community. And I think, you know, it's a very important piece of what we do in our athletic department. And that's, you know, because of the support of our administration and our school board that we're able to do these things. So I'd like to thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ferraro and Dr. Rittenhouse. The reason why I wanted to bring this forward to the school board is, and in particular in the fall semester as a spotlight, is that each fall, we have the highest enrollment of our students in interscholastic athletics at the high school. Currently, I think we're over 60% of our students, 61%, I think where we are. Thank you. 61% of our students are participating in a fall sport. And so the idea that better than 60% of our students not only are getting that opportunity for outdoor engagement and for teamwork, but also character development and leadership development, also has a ripple effect in the classroom and in the school culture as a whole. So they're not just being asked to exhibit that character and that leadership when they're on the field or when they're in the gym, or when they're on the tennis courts or on the golf course. I think we had 6 home events today, so there was a lot going on, or in the pool, but to do so at all times. And so our hope is that that has a significant ripple effect throughout the school year. And several years ago, Joe and I talked about expanding the program. So I think we have quadrupled the exposure of coaches, athletes, and families to training sessions over the last few years, and that's had a significantly positive impact. There is a cost associated with it, but I think it's minimal given the benefit. And so we're really happy with it. I appreciate both Dr. Rittenhouse and Mr. Ferrero taking that lead after I asked them to look into the program, because in my former district, I had experienced the program really positively as a building principal. And so thank you very much. And I'll turn it, and that concludes my report, but I know Mr. Needleman like to say something else as well.
No, I was just going to thank you for the comprehensive report. It's always great to hear stuff like that that's impacting our students positively. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
And at this time, thank you again. And at this time, we'll turn now to our report from Ms. Donahue on the EEHSP and STHSP. Ooh, I was afraid I was going to screw that up. Thank you.
Is it on? Sometimes it's not. Oh yeah, it is. Okay. Good evening. We are excited to be back for the new school year. Before we even got started into the new school year, we hosted our first event, the kindergarten picnic. We welcomed over 110 families in late August to attend with our newest Spartans. Over 300 of guests total with their families attended, and it was a wonderful evening. The Spartan was there. Thank you for letting us borrow the Spartan and the new fancy Spartan, by the way, costume mascot, and our principals, and it was just a really wonderful evening. We've enjoyed the back to school nights, the one at Erdenheim so far. We were there greeting our families and sharing opportunities to join as volunteers, as well as selling some spiritware. And then we'll be there again this week at Enfield to do the same. We have been able to do some staff appreciation already in the new year. We hosted some cool treats the week of their prep week at both schools to surprise them. We stocked the fridge and freezers with some yummy end of summer treats. And then we also host dinner for them on back to school night. So we've done that at both schools as well. We are in the process right now of collecting signups for all of our room parents. We do approximately 180 room parents that we manage and manage that process for our schools. And then we also are bringing back again, like we did last year, our grade level leads to host our grade level events, which were a great success last year. And then our 5th grade committee, which does an amazing job of putting together really exciting and memorable end of year activities for our graduating 5th graders. Our first event of the year will be coming up in October. It's our trunk or treat, and then that'll be on October 19th. Tickets will be on sale starting Friday, and we will welcome people to decorate trunks and pass out treats. And our first general meeting is next Tuesday, September 24th at 6:30 at the Erdenheim Library. We will be discussing some of our plans that are in the works for the new year, and also voting on our new budget for the year. On that note, I just wanted to touch on, we're finalizing our year-end report for our budget from last year, but we had some really amazing results. We managed a budget of $120,000. We exceeded our fundraising goal by approximately $6,000. And we were able to distribute over $25,000 in professional grants to our staff, our principals, recess equipment, and also to host assemblies and pretty much assemblies for every single grade this last year as well. So we look forward to actually increasing their budgets this coming year with the results of our fundraising efforts last year. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there two better words in the English language than increased budget? That's great. Great to hear. Thank you. And we'll turn now at this time to our student representative report. Welcome, Sophia Azagati. Okay, welcome too. Is this your first board meeting, or did I miss the last one because I was curled up in a fetal position in Pittsburgh somewhere? Oh, all right. Well, I apologize for missing your first one, but welcome once again.
Meet you. Thank you, Mr. Needleman. So I would like to start off by saying I hope everyone had a great couple weeks of the school year, and I'm going to start my announcements off with Enfield. So Enfield has had an amazing start of the school year. Students have been learning how to be safe, responsible, and respectful, as well as learning their ABCs and 1, 2, 3s. On September 6th, they had their first school-wide assembly. It was great to see a sea of smiling faces from the students. Last Friday was the first Spirit Day where students and staff got to show off their Spartan gear. Speaking of Spirit Days, yesterday Enfield celebrated Dot Day. This day comes from the story, The Dot by Peter H. Reynolds. Mrs. Klein, Enfield's arts teacher, is also creating a collaborative wall mural of student work that everyone is welcome to see on Back to School Night. Back to School Night at Enfield is this Thursday, September 19th from 6 to 8 p.m. Guardians are welcome to visit the Information Expo and have the chance to meet their child's teacher in one of the 2 available sessions. This Friday, the district is going gold. Students and staff across the district are encouraged to wear gold for childhood cancer awareness. Over at Erdenheim on Monday, August 26th, Mr. Spicer and Miss Mack were excited to welcome teachers and staff back for a new school year. With the anticipation of students' arrival on September 3rd, classroom teachers and support staff spent the week making preparations for the upcoming school year. As students arrived this year, the focus of the school was to have a school culture that keeps community and challenge at the center of their work as they begin their new CKLA, ELA programs across grades 3 to 5. On Thursday, September 5th, 2024, staff welcomed Erdenheim families for Back to School Night, where they had an opportunity to meet and greet teachers in their students' classrooms, along with meeting specialists in the Erdenheim gym. On Wednesday, September 11th, they participated in a moment of silence in memory of the events of 9/11. Today, Tuesday the 17th, 4th graders and teachers had their annual Constitution March, which highlights 4th graders' study of the Constitution along with the amendments. Speeder Kids Running Club and after-school activity will begin on Thursday, September 19th. And on Friday, September 20th, they will join all of SDST as we celebrate for Go for Gold by the MIP Foundation. 5th grade students and teachers will have their annual Go for Gold kickball tournament to determine which homeroom will get the championship trophy. Finally, the week of September 23rd marks the return of band, orchestra, and chorus rehearsals for students. Erdenheim staff is excited for a wonderful year of music at Erdenheim. The week of September 30th marks the return of Science Explorers and Chess Wizards. Erdenheim is looking forward to sharing more exciting updates in the weeks ahead. As for the middle school, tomorrow, September 18th, is the middle school's picture day. On September 19th, they will hold their annual magazine drive assembly. They will also join the rest of the district on September 20th for Go for Gold for pediatric cancer, Additionally, September 27th will be Middle School Unity Day. And over at the high school, this Friday, September 20th, the high school will host their annual activities fair. Additionally, they are beginning to plan for their Spartan homecoming kickoff. Play rehearsals have also started for the fall play, A Glimpse of Springfield, where a collection of student-performed pieces will be adapted into a play format. So that concludes what I have prepared for this report, and I thank everybody for your time. Thank you.
Thank you very much. At this time, we'll take comment on agenda items. I do want to remind everybody we have a 3-minute time limit for comments. We'll keep comments at this time to comments on agenda items. So those are items on our agenda, of course, for this evening. Later on, we'll take comments on non-agenda items. I don't see that anyone has signed up to join us in person. If anyone wishes to speak on an agenda item online, I would ask you to raise your hand now. I don't see any, but I'll babble for another few seconds and buy you all some time. And I don't see any hands raised, so we'll move right along. If I can do this correctly. We'll move then to approval of minutes from our August 20th, 2024 meeting. Our recommended action is that the Board of School Directors approves the board minutes from August 20th, 2024. Are there any comments or questions from members of the board? All right, do I have a motion? And do I hear a second? All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. And all
Aye.
those opposed say no.
Aye.
Nay, pardon me. And any abstentions? All right. That will pass. At this time, we'll vote on approval of the treasurer's report. The Board of School Directors approves the August 31, 2024 treasurer's report. Are there any comments or questions from members of the board at this time? Don't see any. All right. Do I have a motion? And a second? All right. All those in favor say aye. Aye. And any
Aye.
opposed say nay. And any abstentions? Hearing none, that will pass. At this time, the Board of School Directors approves the following personnel as presented in the attachment: administrative personnel, confidential personnel, support personnel, temporary personnel, extra pay for extra responsibilities for 2024 through 2025, and conference workshop attendance. Are there any comments or questions from anyone on the board?
Really?
On are you talking about the file attachments?
Oh, yeah. Oh, so it was after the fact. All right. So it came after the fact. I printed all this out. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. All right, very good. Do you need additional time or?
No.
Very good. All right, do I hear a motion? And a second. All right. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. And any abstentions? All right, hearing none, that will pass. At this time, the Board of School Directors votes to approve the overnight field trip for the high school band and chorus from December 5th through 9th, 2024 to Montreal and Quebec City, Canada for travel, study, and performance. Are there any comments or questions from members of the board at this time? No? Do I have a motion? All right, and a second? All right, all those in favor say aye.
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 And any opposed say nay. And any abstentions? All right, hearing none, that will pass. At this time, the Board of School Directors votes to approve the overnight field trips for athletics as follows. The high school girls field hockey team from July 26, 2024 to July 28, 2024 to Millersville University for summer training camp. The high school water polo team tournament from September 27, 2024 to September 28, 2024. The location and length of stay will be determined at a later time. The high school boys and girls cross-country team from November 1st, 2024 to November 2nd, 2024 to Hershey, Pennsylvania for the state championship. High school swimming from February 20, 2025 through February 23, 2025 to the York County YMCA for district championships. The high school boys and girls indoor track team, February 22nd, 2025 through February 23rd, 2025 to Penn State University for the state championship. The high school wrestling team from March 5th through March 8th, 2025 to Hershey, Pennsylvania for the state championship. The high school baseball team from March 19, 2025 through March 23rd, 2025 to Fort Pierce, Florida for spring camp. The high school swimming team from March 12th, 2025 through March 16th, 2025 to Bucknell University for the state championship. The high school girls lacrosse team from March 19, 2025 through March 23rd, 2025 to Clearwater, Florida for spring camp. And finally, the high school track and field team from May 22nd, 2025 through May 24th, 2025, not March, to Shippensburg University for the state championship. Wow, we have a lot of good teams.
We're aspirational.
Well, but still, let's speak it into existence, right?
Absolutely.
Huh. Are there any comments or questions from members of the board at this time? All right, do I have a motion? And a second? All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? And any abstentions?
Go ahead. Go ahead. This one, I'll have to go back.
I missed one. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. Number 2.
I knew it. Yes, I'm so sorry about
You
that.
got it. It's okay.
Moving backward for a moment, the Board of School Directors approves the second reading, as Dr. Yannicone alluded earlier, of policies 103.3.
Number 2 under active.
Okay, I thought that's, okay,
Overnight field trip.
good enough.
We just missed one of the trips.
Okay. All right, let me make sure I've got this. I don't want to screw this up again. Here we go.
You got it.
Okay.
That one.
Was one ahead. The Board of School Directors approves the overnight field trip for a student and staff member to attend the 2024 through 2025 Pennsylvania Thespian Board Planning Meeting from October 18th to October 19th at Westchester University. Are there any comments or questions from members of the board this time?
I was going to say, if you miss this one, you might start some drama.
It's a very good job.
Way to go.
I'm not sure how to follow that up. I think we'll just go right to a vote. No, are there any more comments or questions? Okay, do I hear a motion? All right, and a second? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And any
Aye.
opposed? And any abstentions? I hear none. All right. Now to the, do I have to read that whole thing again?
No,
Can we
do
just
not. Thank goodness.
go right to a vote?
Right to
Okay.
number 4.
All right.
Yes.
All right. Did we get a recorded vote on the, we did, okay. All right, moving along then, let's vote on the Pathway School 2024 through 2025 school year agreement. The Board of School Directors approves the 2024 through 2025 school year agreement between the Pathway School and the School District of Springfield Township for student 2024-0917-01 in the amount of $68,750. Are there any comments or questions from the board? No? Okay. Do I have a motion? And do I hear a second? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? I hear none. All right, the Board of School Directors approves the confidential settlement and release agreement for student 2024-0917-02. Are there any comments or questions from members of the board at this time? No? Do I have a motion? And do I have a second? All those in favor say aye. And any opposed? And any abstentions? All right. We're going to move along to our first motion in finance, which is the Bloom firewall licenses. Said that correctly. The Board of School Directors approves the 3-year agreement with Bloom to provide the district's firewall licenses and support services for a total of $108,418.42 under the PEPPM contract number 531722-001. Are there any comments or questions from members of the board?
Can I just ask what the PEPPM is?
Wanna talk about that?
So it's similar to CoStars. It's just another cooperative purchasing, usually more for federal level, but it is one of our approved cooperating purchasing that we do at the end of the year when we go through all those things.
Yeah.
To get through. That is one of our approved cooperative purchasing vendors.
Great, thank you. Are there any other comments or questions? No, okay. Do I have a motion? And a second? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And any opposed? And any abstentions? I hear none. So we'll move to policy. And this is the first of the substantive changes to policies to reflect the U.S. Department of Education, April 19, 2024 final rule under Title IX. The Board of School Directors approves the second reading of policies 234, 247, 249, 252, 317.2, 336, 339, and 824. Are there any comments or questions? All right, do I have a motion? And do I have a second? All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. And any
Aye.
opposed or abstentions? All right. The second of our motions under policy, the Board of School Directors approves the second reading of policies 103.3, 104.3, and 815.1. Are there any comments or questions from the board? All right, do I have a motion? And do I hear a second? All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye, and any opposed? Any abstentions? All right. We don't have any motions under our property section, so at this time, I'll take comments on non-agenda items. I don't see that anyone has signed up to join us in person. So I'll look to the folks joining us online and say if you've got a comment to make, please raise your hand. While I'm waiting for folks to raise their hand, I just want to remind everyone, we do have a 3-minute time limit. And I'll ask where you live in the township if you do wish to make a comment, just so that we have that on the record. I don't see any hands. So at this time, I'll close things out. I'll remind everyone we have an interim board meeting on Tuesday, October 1st, which will be hybrid. And our regular board meeting will be Tuesday, October 15th, which will also be hybrid right here in the audience. I want to thank everyone for joining us. Have a great night.